Here's some more tanky news. U.S. and U.K. launched new airstrikes against Houthi militants in Yemen to stop against Red Sea, which, of course, I am against that because I am a tankie, a Muslim tankie. I want to restore the caliphate is basically what I'm saying, because I don't think that we should be bombing all of these countries. Anyway, here it is. America doing more good guy stuff, because this is good guy stuff.
On Iran-backed militants in Yemen. The latest response to repeated attacks on ships in the Red Sea. Senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the details for us. Good morning, Selena.
Hey, good morning, Michael. The U.S., UK, and its allies have launched another major attack against the Houthis in Yemen. Now, their goal is to stop this militant group that's backed by Iran from continuing to attack ships in the Red Sea. But so far, multiple rounds of U.S. strikes, including a massive joint airstrike led by the U.S. earlier this month, they have failed to stop the Houthis from attacking. But this time, officials say that they have hit an underground Houthi storage facility in addition to drone and missile sites. Now, U.S. officials, they insist to me that their strategy is working, that it is making it harder for the Houthis to continue their attacks in the Red Sea. But the Houthis say they aren't backing down. They claim that their actions are in protest of Israel's military campaign in Gaza. It's created.
It's kind of crazy that they're at least admitting that now. I feel like people who misunderstand your opinions on things don't get your extreme levels of sarcasm. Yeah. Here's the straight man take here, okay? It's kind of interesting that at least the media is like, one, openly admitting that the attacks are not successful. Two, at least mentioning what the position of the Ansar Allah government is, right? Which is good. Russia getting massive W's from Israel going batshit. Dude, if I was more of like a Ukraine, NATO adjacent liberal, that's what I would say. I'd be like, Russia got Hamas to attack Israel so that Israel would strike back, and then all of the weapons would go to Israel instead of Ukraine. Therefore, you know, Biden has lost the Russian gambit. Something like that. Yeah. Russia and Iran are propping up Hamas. My giga-lib parents literally had that exact same take. Yeah. How far does it go, chat? Think about it. Stalin was pro-Israel. Okay. How far does the well go? Dun, dun, dun. And everybody knows Putin and Stalin, same guy. Lockheed Martin Corps stock jumped when Biden declared Yemen bombing campaign. Yeah, that is such a stretch. Okay, I'm being sarcastic now. Everything I just said was a joke. Okay, what interview on Yemen? All right,
costly disruptions in one of the world's most critical trading routes, and it's created a dangerous situation. There's no clear end in sight to these back and forth strikes that have the potential to spiral into a wider war. Mary?
That is certainly the concern, Selena. Thank you.
I think part of the reason why it doesn't spiral into a wider war is because a wider war is just ongoing. Like, think about it this way, okay? In the news, you sometimes hear about like Iranian-backed militias striking American bases in Syria or Iraq, specifically in Iraq. And you're like, American military members are in Syria or Iraq? I thought we like pulled out of those places. What's going on? And it's a testament to the reality that like the broader conflict is already ongoing. It never stops going on, I would say. So that's why it's not like, I guess, escalating into something even deeper, with the exception of like bombing Yemen, because bombing Yemen is broadening the conflict for sure. What is this? I'm a total noob, I know, but is tankie a derogative term towards lefties and is reclaimed, or is it a specific kind of leftist / communist? It originally was invented in the UK to suppress the Hungarian Revolution, counter-revolution, with the usage of tanks. So the British anarchists and British leftists, by and large, considered anyone who defended the USSR's actions there to be a tankie. Nowadays, it just means like anyone whose opinions I don't like that is a leftist. I guess back then it was kind of like that too, but it's mostly just a way to try and fit you contextually into a box that, you know, you can prop up and say is bad and wrong, while simultaneously still having some kind of claim over being like a progressive lefty. People that used to call leftists SJWs now use tankie. Yeah. It's a very liberal thing to say. Gross. Yeah. I thought it meant you just like tanks. No, I mean, yeah, that's a part of it. It's just used for libs to say you're going too far. Yeah, that's true. But also the strikes aim to temporarily remove the Houthi capabilities to specifically target ships and bases with their missiles and drones. The goal isn't to unseat the Houthis or kill the leaders of the Houthis, so their power / control isn't directly threatened. And so Iran won't get directly involved, etc. Yeah, but it still's not stopping it. And the more it doesn't stop it, the more the attacks will continue. Some of those attacks are going to inevitably hit civilians. All right, regarding why it isn't becoming a regional war. Sure, fair. It is broadening the conflict for sure, and we know how the American and the allied forces operate in this situation. We'll see what happens. I thought it was a China communist because you're an apologist for the Square incident. Wait, what? No, they just say that for China and everyone. Look, nowadays it's just used by those who I guess are outside of the confines of like the American State Department position. The Square incident, he means like Tiananmen Square. It's a terminally online liberal pejorative for anyone who's to the left of them, yes. And anyone who doesn't like fit the bill in the traditional ways that you're supposed to be like kind of a defense of the American State Department's positions on everything. Like if you say, hey, I don't think it's a good idea to bomb Yemen on moral grounds, like not even pragmatic, just straight on moral grounds. I don't think we should be bombing the poorest country on the, like one of the poorest countries on the planet, right? That just withstood a genocide. And if you say that, well, then you're a tankie. You want like Yemen to come and kill America. It has definitely escalated into anything and everything that the American State Department considers to be a foreign adversary. It's like, it's a very successful way to counter propagandize against those who are anti-war by making those guys seem like they're silly and ridiculous because like, of course America has to do war, but in a progressive way. That's it. Because, like, it's basically like saying, well, I don't think you understand how homophobic the Yemeni population is. You must be a tankie, as though we're, like, bombing Yemen to make them gay or something. Deprogramming is about asking questions, and I think letting people deal with their own contradictions. Yeah. They're liberal, except they think anyone wearing a balaclava or hijab needs to be liberated by gay bombs. Kind of like that. Word comes out of anarchist circles. Tankie equals pro-state, pro-imperialist leftist. Yes. Tankie is a thought-terminating cliche. Yes. It has, like, a similar utility to when someone says this is a terrorist. It is a way to just like, but because it's lesser utilized and lesser known for the most part, most people don't even know what the fuck it is. So you have to like explain the label first and all of the negatives associated with it. But overall, it's like terrorism is something that you know, everybody knows what terrorism is. It's bad. It's a non-state actor. They're doing bad. They're killing civilians and they're violent barbarians and they must be stopped through violent means, right? But the real purpose of slapping that sticker on someone on the political side is to deny them their habeas corpus. Like the people that you're prosecuting, if you do apprehend them, you don't give them the normal civil liberties that you would give to other criminals. So that's number one. The other political purpose for it from a marketing standpoint is to just say, don't even like try to understand where they're coming from because then you'll be giving into them and these guys are bad, right? The greatest example of this, something I've talked about a lot is with Hamas, right? Like Hamas, just like any other militancy, engages in acts of terror, okay? But then there are certain circumstances in which like Hamas's militant wing 100% is not engaging in acts of terror. Right now, Hamas is not engaging in an act of terror inside of Gaza. They're actually defending themselves. They have all of the legal rights under international humanitarian law to basically defend themselves and the Palestinian population inside of Gaza against a belligerent occupier. Israel, on the other hand, is currently engaging in statewide terror. Yes, Hamas does not have a right to kidnap people. That's true. Okay, that's true. You don't have a right to kidnap civilians. You do have a right to have prisoners of war, but you do not have a right to kidnap civilians. So that part is correct. Okay. However, if we're looking at like war crimes across the board, Israel is engaging in a tremendous amount of war crimes. Hamas isn't defending Palestinians, though. They're just trying to inflict damage on Israel. No, right now they are. That's just not correct. Having said that, the reason why we're even talking about this is because like we were talking about the terrorism distinction, right? That designation is given across the board to people so that you can just completely remove like rational thought from their behavior. Well, one, it's a much more effective way of marketing whatever you do to deal with them, right? If someone is a terrorist, then yeah, 25,000 Palestinians are killed over the course of 100+ days, and that's totally valid because why? Well, we're dealing with terrorists. Like terrorism is hard, you know? We got to do counterinsurgency. Like we have to do it, and you know, in that time frame, like we're gonna kill a bunch of people, and it's whatever, you know? They're not human though. So it's a convenient way to slap someone with a bad guy sticker and then also yell at anyone and everyone that even tries to understand what their position is, right? If you even try to understand if there's any sort of rational thinking or any sort of logic in their actions, no matter how violent or inhumane those actions might be from time to time, and October 7th is a great example of the barbarity for sure, right? If you do that, then you're a bad guy too. You must be like a defender of terrorism. Now, as a Muslim Turkish American, invasion. I'm no stranger to being called a defender of terrorism. I started doing political commentary at the tail end of the Obama Islamophobia era, right? Where it was popping off for sure. So I was always branded as a Muslim apologist, and that kind of went away under the Trump administration for a little bit, but we're totally back to that worldview now. And I do definitely remember the way that people were branded like Saddam apologists for being anti-Iraq war invasion, right? The illegal and unjustifiable occupation of Iraq, which now everybody agrees was bad and also claims that they were against, even if they weren't. At the time, the overarching feeling was, oh, dude, Iraq, you don't want America to invade Iraq? What do you love Saddam? You know, he gassed the Kurds, right? He gassed the Kurds. Why do you hate our military? Why do you want terrorism to win? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go live there if you don't like America? So basically, that exact same principle has been recycled in different ways, and they still do that. Can't wait for every bloodthirsty lib call for genocide right now and say like in 5 years they were against Israel. Gonna be the whole this you posting happening. It doesn't matter. None of the this you shit matters. Guys, the reality is you can be wrong every day at the behest of the American State Department, and you will be elevated, okay? No one will care about how wrong you were. On the other side, however, if you oppose the State Department and you're wrong one time, they will never let you forget that. Look no further than Hassan thought Russia would never invade Ukraine. I have been branded a Vladimir Putin defender and Russia supporter in perpetuity, despite the fact that I've never been a Vladimir Putin defender at all. La, 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 no DMCA, la, la.